Yes, thank you, robotic voice. Recording in progress. Oh, right. So we are super casual here on the green team, so there's no calling the meeting to order or anything like that. And if anybody has any questions or anything at any time, this goes for the folks on Zoom and the folks who are in person too, please feel free to interrupt and just kind of chime in. I know there's still a couple people that we are waiting for, like Roberta specifically is one of the folks that we are waiting for. She's got a couple items on the agenda. Speaking of the agenda, I will try to copy paste it into the chat. We'll see what we get. Sometimes copy pasted format for things gets all kinds of wonky when you put it into the chat, but there is sort of our agenda. It didn't copy the index, so you can see there's ones and there's A, B, C, D, then there's two, but like, anyway, we're just gonna kind of go through that. And like I said, feel free to interrupt me at any point if you like. I'm pretty sure everybody knows me. I know Louise is a little bit new, but I'm Christian Tenzar, chair of the Green Team. And I also manage the digital commons, all kinds of student technology support, technology training, all that fun stuff on campus. I'm pretty sure everybody knows who I am, but just in case people who are watching this video might be like, who is this guy? That's who I am. So ongoing projects, the first one is a big win, Discover Books. The bin you might have seen in my email from Monday is here on campus, and the timing couldn't be better because Recyclemania has started, and I'm going to talk about Campus Race to Zero Waste, sorry. Used to be called Recyclemania, now it's Campus Race to Zero Waste, I'm still getting used to that. And timing couldn't be better because the Discover Books give us weights, and I can include those in our Recyclemania reports, which is good because you'll see when we get to that portion of the agenda, we're going to need to use all the help that we can get. Our numbers are not been so hot as of late, especially since the pandemic, and we seem to be moving in the same direction that we have been, which is even worse. But we'll talk a little bit about that as we get further. But the Discover Books is exciting. It's a book donation bin on campus. Right now, it's over in the facilities by the loading dock area. It's going to stay in that general area, but there's some word from facilities that they might need to move it around just a little bit, mainly for snow removal stuff. The facilities team knows that they can kind of move it around wherever they need to move it. And if it needs to move too far away from its current position, I'll just send out an update on campus and let folks know. But it's super easy to you really can't miss it. It has a big Discover Books thing on it. It's white and green and purple and blue, I think. It's mainly white. It has all of the list of the things that they accept on it. And the neat thing is any of the books that you give to them, they kind of resell on their website, which is good because that's recycling too. So that's kind of how they make their money and how this can be free for us. Let me just click on this thing over here. We missed that because I was looking over there. And it looks like Chris is joining us. That's delightful. I know a lot of Chris's, so we'll see which Chris this is. Welcome, Chris. It's good to have you here. So we're talking about the book recycling bin on campus. You can put any kind of book in there, pretty much any condition too, as long as it's not like super moldy or gross or anything like that. If it's in really bad condition, they're just going to recycle it. And their website says that they recycle it and they actually use it to make insulation materials for housing and things like that. So even the books that are no good still go to a good use. And Chris says, hello, this is not Chris. I love, oh, it's Roberta. Oh, of course, Roberta. Good to see you, Roberta. I've been hoping that you would show up. In fact, I'm going to rename you to Roberta just so that we know who you are. Delightful.
For the Discovered Books,
yes.
Can anybody put things into there, or is it like the facilities has to do it because it's over there?
That's a really great question. It's just like basically like a food or like a clothing donation bin, okay, where anybody can put anything in there. There isn't really any policing of it. I will tell you, we have a key that we can use to get in there if something goes in there accidentally, and the people told us that they scan pretty good too, but the community can put stuff in there. And it is all checked, so it's not like it's not like things are just in there and it's getting shipped. Everything is getting checked. Okay. And I actually have the phone number of the person who does the pickup checks. there are some professors on campus that knew this was coming, so they've been saving like years of old editions of textbooks. So I think that our first count, the first time it's picked up during the Recycle Mania competition, is probably going to be pretty impressive.
I have so many books to put in there.
Yeah, and Sabrina's.
It's nuts.
Yeah, Sabrina says she's got a ton too, so that's awesome. I'm going to look through my house. I don't have a ton of books because I think we some book culling.
We have.
Yeah, it's like save the library money. The library is going to recycle all of their unused books, so it's a win-win-win-win-win scenario the way I see it. And thank you to who is left BCC. I'm going to give a shout out to him because Rich K did all of the legwork to make this happen, and it really wouldn't have happened without him going in and taking the initiative on this. So thank you very much to Rich for making that happen. Any other questions about Discover Books before we move on? Okay, awesome. So the next one is something, signage for campus bins. And I know, Jay, that was something that you were working on. And Daryl, I'm not sure if you had anything to do with that either.
Yeah, I mean, I still have the drafts that we created. And like I said, whenever we have feedback, we know for sure we want to move ahead with them and how many, quantity wise, how we want to install them and all of that stuff. I'm happy to get that ball rolling again.
So I think, Jay, like maybe, let me know if this sounds like a crazy idea. What if we were to send those proofs that you gave me to like the whole green team email list and just ask for some feedback? And if we don't get feedback, we'll just kind of move forward with what we have. Does that sound like a good plan, or does that sound like too many cooks in the kitchen?
No, I think that sounds like a great plan. I think we should do that. And I mean, what I have right now is very simple because we already have the labeling on the bins of what goes in which depository. But if people think that there should be adjustments to that, if we want to do something that has, pictures that show what goes in each bin or something, just let me know because I'm happy to change that.
And I think that we might want to make a few adjustments to that because I'm going to be showing just in a short bit the recycling video that I have, the very first edit of it. It's still missing a couple scenes. I got to do some pickup shots today. But one of the things that I discovered is that there are a lot of changes. I'm just going to kind of mute Roberta there. I'll unmute you, Roberta, when we get there, but it sounds like you're moving your laptop around. Yeah, I'll send that out to everybody in the green team and we'll move forward with that with any suggestions and a couple of different changes based on what's going on.
Perfect. Sounds good to me.
Great. Sounds like we got a plan for that. So that brings us to the next thing, which is the recycling video. I'm going to try to share this with sound with everybody here. And let's see how this works out. First thing I got to do is get Zoom to show me the share screen window. And share sound and let's recycle the video. All right. Oh, asking for a password. Hold on a moment. That's first. All right. Everybody should be able to see the first frame of this. I'm going to try to make it full screen and hopefully the audio will come through too. One of our core in the echo chamber. Hold on a moment. Let's try this again. And I will mention too, this is a super rough cut. So if it doesn't play with the audio, I'll post a link for everybody. The audio is kind of important, so hopefully it will. I'm not seeing anything on the screen now. I'm just seeing a black screen. Is that what you folks are seeing too?
Yes.
Yeah, let's try this again. Stop the share, restart it. All right, there's some bins. All right, let's try this again. And it is choppy and janky. Not at all working the way I had hoped it would, but let's try this. I am going to mute the meeting owl, and I'm going to try to play it again. I'm going to try to not do it full screen, because I think that's one of the reasons it's choking. I'm going to make it a little smaller. Let's try this again. This is the last time we will try this way though. All right, so let's move this meeting owl.
At Berkshire Community College, sustainability is one of our core values, and recycling has always been an important part. BCC provides 4-part bins across campus for recycling and composting. Many of the food containers from Burke's Cafe and SBA are marked, showing how to recycle or dispose of them. Empty coffee cups and soup containers can continue to be placed in compost bins. Lids, however, should be put into the trash. Napkins can also be put into compost bins, although if they are wet or extremely dirty, please put them into the trash to avoid contaminating compost. Plastic food containers can all be placed into the recycling, just make sure they are empty of food first. For oversized containers, you can lift the lid of the bin. All plastic utensils on campus should be placed into trash bins. While they are made of plastic, they are too small to be recycled. This also goes for other small plastic items like creamer or sauce containers. If you are unsure how to dispose of an item, reach out to a Green Team member or check out recyclesmartma.org. At Berkshire.
I didn't actually know that about like the forks and small items like that. So that I think those things should definitely be on the bin so that we know that. And we should.
That's exactly what I was saying, and trying to fix our audio situation here. There we go. I think that should work a little bit better. Could you hear the audio for that, or was it like echoey for everybody?
I could hear it just fine.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, sound good.
Okay, so as you saw, there was a couple areas too where there was just kind of black screens because it wasn't quite ready yet. I could show it again if you want to see it again, but it's coming in at just about a minute. And do folks want to see it again one more time, maybe? And any options that you have, like, not final. So like, if you see anything that's like, oh, that's a problem, now is the time to say it before we get this out there for everyone on campus. So let me share again. Okay. And I'm gonna have to do the weird mute thing, so give me a moment.
At Berkshire Community College, sustainability is one of our core values, and recycling has always been an important part. BCC provides 4-part bins across campus for recycling and composting purposes. Many of the food containers from Burke's Cafe and SBA are marked, showing how to recycle or dispose of them. Empty coffee cups and soup containers can continue to be placed in compost bins. Lids, however, should be put into the trash. Napkins can also be put into compost bins, although if they are wet or extremely dirty, please put them into the trash to avoid contaminating compost. Plastic food containers can all be placed into the recycling, just make sure they are empty of food first. For oversized containers, you can lift the lid of the bin. All plastic utensils on campus should be placed into trash bins. While they are made of plastic, they are too small to be recycled. This also goes for other small plastic items like creamer or sauce containers. If you are unsure how to dispose of an item, reach out to a Green Team member or check out recyclesmartma.org. At Berkshire Community.
All right. So does anybody have any thoughts or any changes? I will comment that the thing with the utensils, we used to use compostable utensils. The ones that they are using over there now are all plastic, and you can use that Recycle Smart MA website. I also went to the Casella website to kind of confirm all this stuff. So I did a lot of research to make sure that the information we're giving out is good. And as our folks in facilities like Deborah, you might know this, that we're not actually composting right now. We may at some point in the future. which is why in the video I say to continue to put coffee cups and lids into the or coffee cups and soup containers into the compost and napkins as well. Because we may start to compost here just on our own campus here. That's one of those things that we have to figure out.
Okay, good.
I know Tammy and Chris had both mentioned we had thought about getting one of those composting tumblers, but that changes the way we think about composting like across the board. Like any of those things that say commercially compostable on them, we can't put in a tumbler like that. So it has to be something that's truly compostable, not the plasticky kind of like commercial compostable stuff, which is what our utensils were in the past, our straws, our coffee lids. And the coffee lids now are commercially compostable, but if we go to that plan with the tumbler, they can't go in there. So that's why I decided to go with the information the way I did.
Okay.
So if anybody has any thoughts on how to make that better, I'll attach what I have when I put out the synopsis of this meeting. I'll throw it up onto YouTube. And of course, it's got a little bit of work left to go, but I want to send it out to campus next week because we're already in getting into week 3 of Recycle Mania, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. Jay, I know you added a lot of video. Any thoughts or ideas or anything that you saw that was like I will tell you the logos I'm not totally finished with. I just threw those in half hour, 45 minutes ago. So.
No, actually, I think it looks really good. I don't know if we're still doing a new green team logo, if that's something that we still want to tackle to put at the beginning of the video at some point. But I think it looks great. I think it's really good for something that you all put together on your own. And it helps us out in marketing too, because we have to focus our video content on marketing the college. So we don't have as much time for the other videos. And I think all the footage is very straightforward. Everything is clear and concise. It sounds awesome to me. I think it's great.
And it looks like Roberta had a few comments in the chat. Who do we speak to request the food vendor to use more type materials to be recycled? And also, can we ask or tell them to use materials that can be composted or recycled? It's a little tricky because they are third party. It would kind of be our finance folks and our VP of finance who would do that. Right now, we have no VP of finance. So hopefully a search on that will go out pretty soon. I know, oh, actually, I think I saw the interim position was posted just the other day. So hopefully we'll have an interim soon. I'm not really sure who to work with on that until somebody is in place. I guess I could reach out to one of the Chris's, and if they don't know, I can always reach out to Ellen too. But yeah, it's one of the things. I went over there and talked to the folks over there, and while they're aware of some stuff, like they're kind of new to campus themselves, so weren't exactly aware of how important some of this, and I guess really how much of a change it is compared to how the cafeteria used to be, especially when Kevin, who was a green team member, was running it. Sorry, I know you folks have other things to add, so go ahead. No? Was that it? I could swear somebody was just dying to add something and I kept rattling on. All right.
I just put a comment in. I think it looks great. But for me, I was curious. I could see that there were little stickers on the bins, but I couldn't tell. Is that like the cheat sheet that tells you, or a key?
Yeah, that's a great question.
What goes in where?
Ultimately, this video will be on the Green Team website in the area that talks about our composting guidelines. And there will be text there too, so that if people don't want to watch the video. One of the reasons we focused on a short video, tried to keep it to a minute, is because we know that that's what really reaches our students, is short videos like that. So I'm going to also be reaching out to Tina to see if this video can get embedded into the weekly buzz, which is one of the reasons why I want to have it fairly soon. And Jay, to that end, if you want to add it, the marketing folks want to add it to your newsletter. I mean, it's escaping me now, even though we've had a million editions of it. But what is it called? The Scoop?
Are you talking? Yeah, the Scoop. I was gonna say that could be submitted to marketing. Nora actually puts that one together, so she'd be happy to include everything in there.
Great. So, and that's ultimately the goal, is to try to get this out there to campus. So if people want to watch the video, they want to read the text, the stuff on the bins is accurate, I was noticing as I was looking through. We might need to make some changes if we do go to that on-campus composting. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I think the most important thing now is just the right stuff going in the right bins. Okay, any other thoughts on that? And we'll move on to the next item. You'll see more on the video for sure as we finish that up. So our next item is, oh yeah, the key that Leslie created. I'll have to find that, but I remember what you're talking about, Roberta. I'll have to figure out where that ended up, but I remember that, absolutely. So our next item, I kind of grouped together into 3 items. We have been talking about doing a campus cleanup event, an educational event, and an Earth Day event. The campus cleanup is sort of its own thing, but I'm sort of, as we're getting closer and closer to Earth Day, we're now like into February double digits starting today, February 10th. Like we're running out of time, so I'm kind of thinking of combining the educational event with the Earth Day event, and I know that SGA has done Earth Day events in the past too. So my first thought is to reach out to Tina and see if there's any student events that are being planned right now, and kind of just join forces so that we're not doing double work on a lot of these things, especially since we're also very busy in our jobs right now. So any thoughts on any of that? And like again, the campus cleanup event is something that's going to be separate, and I'm gonna work with the facilities crew to pull that together. But any thoughts on events in general? We'll talk more about that as we have more green team meetings. And I'm going to take the reins on that. So you know, if it doesn't happen, you have no one but me to blame, and this meeting's being recorded. So.
I just want to say Earth Day is April 22nd, and I know that the PTA program is doing their wellness day down here at Patterson that day. So they're doing like a 5K race and some other events down here. So I know that a number of people, like myself included, will sort of be involved in that. So just a heads up scheduling.
And you said that's the wellness crew?
It's called Wellness Day. It's a fundraiser for the PTA program. So
PTA.
Michelle Darrow is the main contact for that.
Fantastic. That's kind of what I was getting at is Michelle Darrow. I'll reach out to Michelle and let her know Green Team is also looking to do something. Like, again, like there's no sense in, this is one of the reasons why we have these meetings, so that none of us are doing double work here on campus. I'll reach out to Michelle. We'll join forces. We'll make one awesome event even better. So thank you, Daryl. That's super helpful. Any other thoughts on events or anything as we move through the semester? We might try to do a community cleanup in addition to a campus cleanup like we did last spring. I really enjoyed that, and I thought it was really successful. We went over one of the local elementary schools, middle schools, and we cleaned up a whole ton of trash. It was a really nice morning, and we were like pulling stuff out of the woods. It was great, and they were appreciative, and that's the kind of thing that we like to do. Stern School, thank you, Roberta.
I was just curious, did the alumni ever get involved? Do you include them or invite them to come? It seems like it would be a nice collaboration with the alumni community.
You know what? I don't think that anyone has ever asked that before. But you know, Louise, if you want to help us make that happen, there's no reason that it can't. Our Green Team stuff is open to the whole community, not just BCC students. We sometimes have folks who are just, you know, live in Pittsfield or live in the Berkshires in general who come and join us on stuff. And the more the merrier for any of those things. So yeah,
Okay.
you and I know we've got some more meetings planned for next week. We could talk more about that, and you can reach out to me anytime if you want.
Okay.
You're on the Green Team email list now too, so you're going to get all the emails. So
Great.
feel free, you know, to share any of that stuff with our alumni.
Great. It just seems like a nice collaboration and a good way for the students and the alumni to engage with each other.
I totally agree. Let's make that happen. Awesome. Good thinking, Louise. So the next item I have on the agenda is the Green Team blog, which I'm just going to mention very briefly. I know Roberta's done some work on the Green Team blog, as has our other Green Team work study, Erica. And the Green Team blog is there. We kind of update it when we have stuff that's worth updating about. So this recycling video will probably also get posted there, just to put it out there in as many places as possible. And as we plan our spring events, that's where we're going to put like the detailed information as well. But if any folks have any anything that they want to write themselves that they're passionate about. I know I mentioned the students, if they have like a paper that's environmental leaning, green team leaning, you kind of just rework your paper and post it on the green team blog site. So anybody who wants to write for that in any capacity, make a video, share pictures that you have, just reach out to me and we'll make it happen. It's linked to from the main green team website on the BCC website. And that's the easiest way to find it. Just go to the BCC website. You can search for Green Team or go to berkshirecc.edu/green team. And the Green Team blog is over on the left side, super easy to find. All right, and there's nothing else about the blog. The next thing up is the addition to campus rental policy. This has also kind of been in a holding pattern because it's, as we discussed this and we brought it through shared governance, we found out that it's really kind of a VP of finance thing. And we are trying to find an interim VP of finance right now. As soon as we do, I'm going to meet with that person and see if we can get this moving. So it's more of a contract item. It's kind of falls solely under facilities. So it's not really a shared governance thing. We had written up a whole draft and I believe it's in the Green Team. I'll double check and make sure everybody has access to that if you want to see it. But what it is it's for guests who are coming to campus. They just get a little rundown on what our housekeeping rules are, which is recycle what you can, throw away your trash, nothing that an Airbnb wouldn't expect you to do, more or less. So any questions on any of that? We're still going to try to make it happen, hopefully for the next fiscal year. All right, there's no questions on that. We'll move on to some more new and exciting stuff. The next two items are Roberta items. So Roberta, I know you've been typing into the chat, but you can also feel free to unmute if you want to just, you know, kind of speak right up. But the first one is the nature trail, the BCC nature trail sign refresh and refresh project. So Roberta, do you want to say anything about that?
Can you folks hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. That's great. Okay. Nature trail. Sorry, I've got a paper that's all three things are written on it. Okay. What we're working on is trail renovation, trail map, and trail markers. And it started from a project we were doing a couple of years ago before the pandemic. Right now, Green Team is collaborating with the BCC Science Commons and STEM. And the main lead person that I'm working with is Colin at the Science Commons. And what we've been working on since about November is making new trail markers. And the important thing with, it's nice to have new markers, which we do need we're working on the John Lambert Trail first, but we also need to really make sure that the markers match up with the map that Aaron Murphy was making back in 2018. So we're working on making sure the map and the key and the markers all meet up. And the footwork that's going into that is next Thursday, Logan and I, who's a STEM student and who's also in environmental science, are going to start going on the John Lambert Trail again, because probably a lot of snow will be melted, and start checking which markers go to which thing and see what we need to update. For example, we had one marker that was marking a blow down tree, but now we have about 37 blow down trees. So we like to pick the example that's the coolest example and that shows there. That's, yep, that the coolest example that shows each point on the trail from the map that Aaron was working on. We put in a request, which went, I think, to Jay and to Cara. I'm not sure exactly because Colin did that part. And to let them know we only have the PDF from 2018 and we're looking for, you know, the source of that actual two-sided little four-fold brochure that gets printed on 8.5 by 14 legal size paper and then gets folded. I think, oh, and if you need any other images besides this is the new one that Colin just made. These are going to be a kind of plastic that will biodegrade, but it won't biodegrade too fast because, you know, then we'd have to put the markers up every year, which, yeah, that'd be a bit much. So this is the idea. It's a vertical marker and they're going to go on some of the existing posts. And If it's an area where we cannot drive a post in because there's so much ledge up, especially on the high point of the trail, then I'm gonna probably be the queen of zip ties again and put them with the hole. They're gonna all have holes in the corners, and then I'm gonna be zip tying them very loosely to younger sized trees. I guess that's about what we're doing on that, and STEM is involved in it also. So it's sort of a collaboration between Green Team, Science Commons, STEM, and environmental science students.
Thank you, Roberta. And just to clarify, what we're looking at now is the latest design of those signs. There'll be a sign at each station. There used to be 30 stations, 30, 32, 34, something like that. But like Roberta said, she's going to figure out which ones are still there and update that list. And each station will have a sign like this once we're all done, and an updated guide. I know there's a part of the website too, Jay, so we'll be reaching out to marketing about updating that website. You know, and you know, we'll help you do it, because you know, it's one of the advantages of having one of the technology guys on the Green Team is I can edit a website pretty well, so.
We're also going to update photos, and Colin pointed out that even though the photos show up really, really small on the fourfold little trail map key, that I want to try to get in some newer photos than what we do have.
Awesome. Thank you, Roberta. Any questions about the
Sure.
Nature Trail Refresh project before we move on to Roberta's next project?
I just want to say that we have a new camera in marketing, and I'm happy to come out and take photos anytime when you're ready for me to do that. I would love to do that. I love taking the nature trails. So just feel free to shoot an email to marketing and or a request, and I'll come out there and take photos as well, in addition to anything you want to send me. So I would be
Yay.
happy
Thanks,
to be
Jay.
invited.
That sounds like fun.
One of the other fun aside things to that is Roberta and I and whoever wants to join us, I guess, are going to go out Tuesday, weather permitting, and we're going to take a drone out over the nature trail while there's no foliage out there, and see if we can get some nice aerial shots to kind of help us orient some of these signs and help Roberta out in her project, just to have another perspective of BCC's beautiful property, our nature trail, and with no leaves, maybe we'll see some interesting stuff too.
Yeah, I super want to encourage students to get out there, and and we have in the past couple of years encouraged not just environmental students, but like other students are like, where's that trail? What is that? And then, be like, hey, you want to check it out? And having the map there available in different places on campus. And then we have sort of a mailbox, a metal mailbox where we keep the maps in there at the trailhead.
Great. So that's what we're doing for the nature trail. It's a collaboration between a bunch of different folks. Our next item is the pollinator project, which has changed quite a bit since our last meeting. A partner approached BCC, and Roberta, would you like to talk a little bit about this? And one thing to know that the previous project, the Trail Science Project, is Roberta's work study project. This next project that we're talking about is her independent study with Tom Tyning this semester.
Okie dokie. The partners are National Park Service and the Conway School of Landscape Design. The Conway kids are going to come along a little bit later in the spring and do a pretty complete survey. Where, as far as I know, they're going to survey plants, although Tom and I have been talking a lot about surveying animals. And one of the things we're doing this winter is winter tracking to figure out, again, what animals. Almost every winter we try to do some winter tracking because it has tended to work better than trail cams to figure out exactly what animals are in our ecosystem. And we have a lot of animals, and there is a list that exists from 2020 that's pretty accurate. I don't know if I need to update it, but if you want the list from 2020, it's got pictures and quite a good list of all the big creatures. Then he's got another student working on insects. And then I'm working on nighttime pollinators. And we already have a list of daytime pollinators that I did last year. Tom is reaching out, and we need 5 actual staff people because of the different ways that he started explaining it to me, but I don't completely understand it. Because we're going to be partnering with National Park Service, they have certain requirements. So we need more faculty or staff people besides Tom. And then right now I'm the main student on it. And then there will probably be other students coming along, but I'm not giving out names yet because we're just kind of starting. And the partnership with the National Park Service, as far as I know, is new. Also with Conway will be new. If you want any of the previous reports or photos or papers or anything I've been doing on pollinators, just ask. And they also gave us a couple of pollinator collaborations they had done. We have a 91-page collaboration with Great Barrington. If you want to read the 91, it's kind of interesting, charts and pictures and everything. I think, yeah, and we're calling it Pollinator Pathway Project. And back about 2 years ago, I still have the great hope that we're going to be putting in shrubs, because herbaceous plants are great, but shrubs are much more obvious. And we know that they're not only for the pollinators and that are diurnal and nocturnal, that they also work quite well for the larval stages and the egg laying, because they provide a lot of places for that to happen. And a lot of, I guess I could say there's a lot of co-evolved species that want certain shrubs to lay eggs on, and then they're going to eat those shrubs up, and the shrubs won't look too pretty for a while, but then they always bounce back. They bounce back a lot better than herbaceous plants. That's why we're trying to go with shrubs. And those shrubs would extend all the way down towards the wetlands, also trying to get a couple of them in at Patterson. That really, the idea of it being a pathway really is a pathway. We have 180 acres to cover. So, we do have shrubs already, but we don't have as many native ones as I'd hoped we would have. So we want to add to that.
Did you mention how part of this is to put signs on the important plants that are important to our pollinators? Did you hit upon that?
Oh, yes. That was the first, when I first approached Colin, we were talking about doing the Latin binomials, the botanical names on shrubs. And we decided to do the trail markers first and kind of practice and get it really down of how good that they can look, so that by the time we make ones to identify native species, they'll look really, really nice, because we're going to get better and better at it.
Right, so ultimately the important plants on campus that are important to pollinators will be marked and labeled so that everybody will know, hey, this shrub is important to, I don't know, what pollinates a shrub, Roberta? I'm sure you know.
Butterflies, moths, hoverflies, bats, opossums if it's low to the ground. There's so many different pollinators, and we have a lot of those right on our campus.
Awesome. So we will be giving updates on that as this project moves along in its collaboration. It's exciting whenever we have partners on a big project like this, because as you know, with Green Team, we all kind of do this in addition. And it looks like, Louise, you have a question?
I do. And, I'm the money girl. So I'm going to be, and this may not be the right area, and you may not have answers to some of the questions that I have, but I mean, this is such a great program. And what you are doing is just, I'm so enthused to see this happen here. Is there a partnership with someone that you're using to fund, or was it a grant that funded for your payment of the signs and some your supplies? Does anybody know that? I would just be curious, because I think that a lot of people would support this for things that you might need.
Well, we really need, there's things we really, really need. And I had reached out over time to a couple of nurseries, and then I'd put in I've got a couple of emails into a couple of people on campus, because I was thinking of actually writing a letter to Alan Kennedy and saying, hey, we want to do this project. Can we have some money? Especially for the shrubs themselves.
I know Ellen's been on the email list that have been going around about this, so she's aware of it. And
Okay.
She does.
I also know that she gets the Green Team emails, so perhaps she will be watching this and reach out to us at some point about this project, because we do have partners. Those partners bring money, but you're right, Louise, we're going to have to find some resources ourselves on campus, and that's when things get a little tricky. Green Team traditionally has not had a budget, There's
Okay.
been,
Yep,
there's
we don't
rumblings
have a budget. We need a budget.
There's been rumblings that we may get a budget. However, I think with all the other changes going on in the finance team right now, with the new software and system, like some of those bigger ideas are just taking a back seat just so we can get through our daily day-to-day and make sure that everything is working as it should.
Okay.
And I'm sure that will come. We're not gonna ignore that. I know one of the things we really want to do is we want to have, sounds really basic, but we just want to have green team t-shirts so that when we show up for these community events,
Sure.
who the heck we are. Right now, we just look like a ragtag group, like we kind of put on our BCC gear if we want, but like not very coordinated. And that's something that if we're going to be a team, it would be really easy to change. T-shirts are not that expensive. So just a couple different examples, and that's a really good question.
All right, thanks. I'll follow up.
Colin has gotten it figured out, the budget for the plastic, the extruded something plastic that we're gonna use. Colin,
The
I
3D
think has
printed
that part
plastic
figured out.
It isn't as expensive as you might think, and
Right.
STEM actually has a lot of budget for that stuff. They're already buying it anyway, so and STEM has always been a supporter of Green Team, so I don't think it's any problem. Even asking just Frank, hey, can we have an extra $50 for some, plastic resin for some signs? The answer is gonna be an enthusiastic yes. I would be shocked if it were anything other than that. So that's
Yeah,
kind of
thanks for oh, sorry.
I'm just gonna
Thanks
say,
for letting us
yeah.
know, Louise, because we do need a budget, or if we don't get a budget, we at least need to get money for these plants, because I really have talked to local nurseries and they're willing to cut us deals, but they can't keep, they've given us seeds, they've given us a lot of nice things, especially Whitney's, but we can't ask them to give us those kind of things. They're too expensive.
right.
Sure, I understand. I was just curious I hear the plan, but I was wondering how it was, how is it being financed? And, plaques are usually expensive, especially things for outdoors.
That's the great thing about 3D printed plaques is like they are not expensive.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
3D printed plaques.
Oh, 3D. Oh, great.
Like those are, I'm gonna guess, I wish we had Colin here, but I'm gonna guess maybe a couple bucks a piece for each sign. And
Right.
of course, the time that it takes a staff member to do that, but Colin's up there running the Science Commons anyway. It's once you have a 3D printer figured out, it takes a little bit of babysitting, but you basically just hit print and then walk away.
Well, that's fantastic to have those resources. That's great.
It really is. We've got
Yeah, the Science Commons has been super great in helping Green Team.
And I know Colin wanted to be here. I'm sure he'll be at our next meeting. Fingers crossed. He's really excited about these partnerships too. So anything else about the culinary project before we move on to Recycle Mania?
We did have those couple of agenda items that we grouped together of part of the wish list. And that wish list came about mainly because of Green Up Your Workspace, but also because of pollinator. So I can save that little wish list. That's sort of like a short announcement, and I can save that for later if you want. But they're things we really kind of need.
Why don't you talk about that now? Because Recycle Mania is kind of our last official item other than talking about our next meeting.
We super need some kind of cart to cart things around that has wheels that actually work. Whether we're carting around things from Digital Commons or back and forth, because there's a bunch of plants that I take care of for Green Up Your Workspace. And sometimes you need to cart bags of soil, stuff like that. And we took a picture of that one the other day that the young person was using from IT. And it looks like it's one that might have came from Kevin or came from the cafeteria. That's nice and rugged, a cart like that. And then Andrea and Natalia had donated some stuff, which is really nice, but we also need to buy some more of that really good Pro Mix growing medium. And I found a source at Caligari's in Lenox for that. But I just, there's only so much money I can spend on these things myself to keep the projects going. And there's a lot of interest in the Green Up Your Office, especially in, springtime, or well, actually in winter, people love having plants in their office.
Right, and Roberta is our person who's in charge of the Green Up Your Workspace. So if you see plants in my office, I know Sabrina has some on her desk. There's a bunch of others too, and also some temporary plants that are being fostered by the business department over there for the time being. Roberta is sort of known as being the plant person on campus. So if you know of any plants that need attention, let Roberta know, and maybe we'll put those the list of stuff that we're looking for. I know I'm going to reach out to, I haven't sent the email yet, but I'm going to reach out to some folks on campus about the cart for you, Roberta. But if anybody knows about a cart that they don't need, got good wheels, you know, reach out, let us know. We might be able to put it to some good use. All right.
Yeah, we could produce another wish list. The only wish list we did so far was only for outdoor equipment. And we
Right.
did that back in the summertime.
Yeah, that was a while ago. Roberta, next time you're around, we'll talk more about that, you and me.
Okay, Tuesday. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Thanks. All the projects all together, there's a bunch of overlap, and like if we got different kinds of things for Green Up Your Workspace, obviously we could use them on other, you know what I mean? Like there's Green Team will do a good job at using things that we get.
Awesome. Okay, well, let's jump into Recyclemania. I'm going to actually share my screen again so folks can see exactly what's going on with Recyclemania. So here's the, I'm sorry, Campus Race to Zero Waste is what they call themselves now. Here's their website. You can Google this, it'll come right up. Even if you Google Recyclemania, notice it says formerly Recyclemania right there, because like myself and a lot of people still call it that. Although notice that the logos this year for 2023 no longer say formerly Recyclemania, and so they're starting to transition away. But we can always check the results. You can check the results too by just going to the scoreboard and going to results. And we mainly compete in the diversion category. So here we are with the live results. And got this here, I'll hide that. You can see Berkshire Community College. Oh, here we are, we're 12th with a not so impressive 42.945%. Now, you might say we're doing a lot better than Emerson College, who's only got 5%, or Purdue University, who's at 15.7%. However, compared to how we've done in the past, you can see, like even last year, we ended with 65%. And at one point, we were all the way up into the almost 82% some years. So where we are now in the 40s, 42% is, I'm going to use the word our numbers are kind of in the toilet from where we want them to be. So that's why it's really kind of important that we get this recycling video out, the message out. I'm not sure how much we can change overnight or during the competition even, but we can make sure that people are at least putting stuff in the right bin. I wish less of the stuff was going into the trash bin, but there's really only so much we can do about that until we get things. If we can get our composting vendor to come and pick stuff up again, and we can continue to get some good numbers in there, because the composting was really our secret weapon. And I was really reminded of that as I was digging into making that recycling video. I looked at some of the old video that we had from the cafeteria, and I realized how much I really do miss the cafeteria even more, seeing what it used to be and how awesome it was with everything being recyclable, the forks and utensils, and we've really kind of moved away from that with our current food structure on campus. Not sure, like I said, how much we can change, but the first step is at least knowing what our challenges are and then trying to take it on. So the video, I think, is our most important thing, just trying to get it out there to as many people as possible, as many students as possible. I might even reach out to faculty and say, hey, faculty, can you play this in your classes? I'm sure that Tom Tyning will have no problem doing that. It'd be a little bit more challenging for like our nursing faculty, for example, but who knows, like 1 minute in each class, like maybe it can make an impact. I don't think that's a very big ask for considering that sustainability is one of our missions. So that is going to be one of the things I'm going to do once this video is ready, is try to get it in front of as many BCC eyeballs as possible. Any thoughts? Oh, I wanted to mention, he isn't here, but Sean Regan is helping me with Recyclemania this year. It used to be a whole lot of work for me. I would have to check the dumpsters every single day on my ride into campus, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And first thing I did every day is check all the dumpsters. But Sean has very kindly offered to do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday morning. So I only have to do Monday, which happens to be his remote day. So I am so grateful to have a partner on that. And even though he's not here, I wanted to give a shout out to Sean. So the less I have to do with things like checking dumpsters, the more I can do with things like editing videos. So that's really awesome. And I really want to recognize his contribution and thank him very much for that. Any thoughts or anything on Recycling Mania before we kind of wrap up and talk about our next meeting? And also, now is kind of the open time. So if anybody has anything that they want to talk about, I know I saw some interesting things. I saw a company who is selling a robot that compacts your trash, and then you mail your trash to this company and they're supposed to sort through your trash. I don't know. I didn't really look that deeply into it. But there's always things to talk about if somebody has stuff that they want to bring up. All right, I guess everybody likes the sound of my voice or something, but that's strange because usually my family's telling me to shut up already.
How about we ask faculty to show the new video? I'm sorry, the audio is cutting out.
You're okay. Like that is one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to ask them to show the video in their classes. Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to try to have another meeting before the end of February. February is a short month, but we have a pretty ambitious agenda for the spring here and a lot of events that I want to plan coming up. There really are no other action items other than to everybody keep doing what they're doing. Feel free to give me feedback on their stuff. And I'm going to send an email out to everybody about the signage. And feel free to give me any feedback you want. Always feel free to reach out about any environmental issues or anything the green team might be able to help with. And if nobody has anything else for the good of the group, then we will wrap things up. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for showing up both in person and on the Zoom, and for watching. If you watched this far into the recording, I commend you. All right. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you.